Coding 101 The Kids Way is an educational program which teaches kids ages 7 to 12 years all about coding and how coding impacts their world. The aim of the program is to inspire kids to learn how to code through practical experiences and insights to career opportunities. This outline was developed by Smart Kids Educational Club on behalf of Tambourine Learning for the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica.
Are you ready? Let's go! Wow! All right! Hey, mini coders! We're back with another episode of Coding 101 The Kids Way. I'm Stacey the Robot. Before we get into the show, let's recap last week's show about smart homes. Smart home systems often operate together, sharing data among themselves and automating actions based on what the homeowners prefer. Lights and even appliances like refrigerators, microwaves can be controlled through a smart home system.
I have my phone right here, and from my phone, I can lock and unlock the door at my house. I just unlock my front door using my phone. Okay, let me lock that back quickly.
Now, that was amazing. We had so much fun last week. If you missed it, you can check out the full show and other previous episodes on our YouTube channel at PBCJamaica. Let's get started with the show because we're about to talk about fashion. In this episode, we find out how computers are amazing tools that can help us make our clothes better in many ways, like the design of the clothes, how it's being made, and the customization of various clothes for many clothing brands. Computers can help fashion designers create amazing new designs for clothes. They use special software that lets them draw and color their designs on the computer, then see how they look in 3D. This helps them make sure the clothes will fit well and look great before they make them. Computers can also help factories that make clothes do their work better and faster. They use machines that are controlled by computers to cut out the fabric into the right shapes and sizes, sew pieces together, and add buttons and zippers. This makes the clothes look neater and more precise. Computers can also help us personalize our clothes to make them unique. Some companies let you design your own t-shirts or sneakers using a computer program. You can choose the colors, patterns, and even your own pictures or words. Then, the computer uses a computer-controlled machine to print or embroider your design onto the clothes. Overall, computers can help us make clothes that are more beautiful, comfortable, and unique. They are amazing tools that can help us express ourselves and show off our creativity. But let's get a bit deeper and learn how computers have influenced the fashion industry because they've had a huge impact on the fashion industry in recent years. As I previously stated, the designers use special software that lets them draw and color their designs on computers and then see how they look in 3D. Well, it's called a computer-aided design software, which they use to create their designs. The software allows designers to create and manipulate designs quickly and easily. They can experiment with different colors, patterns, and shapes and see how their designs look in 3D. Computers have revolutionized how clothes are manufactured. Computer-controlled machines are used to cut fabric, sew pieces together, and add buttons and zippers. This makes the manufacturing process faster and more precise, resulting in higher quality clothes. They've also changed how fashion brands market and sell their products. Social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook have become important marketing tools for fashion brands. They use these platforms to showcase their products, connect with customers, and build brand awareness. Computers also allow fashion brands to offer more personalized products to their customers. Many brands now offer customization options, allowing customers to choose the colors, patterns, and style of their clothes. This allows customers to create unique, one-of-a-kind pieces that reflect their personal style. Now that we understand that computers have had a significant impact on the fashion industry, from designing and manufacturing clothes to marketing and sales, let's take a break and soak up all that knowledge. We'll be right back, mini coders. Don't move a muscle or motor arm. Welcome back, mini coders. I'm Cece the Robot. If you're just joining us, this is Coding 101 the Kids Way. Earlier, we learned about the influence of computers in the fashion industry, from design to marketing. But let's hear from our guest fashion designer, who will be sharing the inside view of how computers influence the fashion industry. Hey, Ayana Dixon, what's up?
Hi, Cece. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I have a few questions I want to ask about the influence computers have on the fashion industry, and the mini coders are extremely excited to hear from you.
Of course, go right ahead.
So, how have computer-aided design software changed the way you design clothes?
Okay, so there are tons and tons of ways that computer-aided designs have helped the fashion industry. But for me specifically, with doing my illustrations on clothing, I actually use lots of different easy and accessible software to do my illustrations. And that makes my illustrating process and the process from getting the illustrations to the clothing a very, very short time period. So for example, instead of hand drawing and hand screen printing everything, I'm now able to draw on an iPad or some kind of tablet or with a stylus, and I'm then able to get the illustration, which you can see behind me. You can get those digitized automatically because I'm drawing it digitally, and then we're able to transfer it and burn a screen digitally for the screen printing process. And that makes everything a lot more easy, because honestly, the time it would take for me to draw all the different layers, I can just separate them in 5 seconds on my tablet or in Photoshop or in Illustrator. So that's how I use it in my business.
What are some of the benefits of using CAD software in fashion design?
Well, internationally, I think that what's happening in the world is amazing with technology. So I'm not just speaking from a local perspective, because also some of these technologies are actually very expensive. So locally, we might not have access to them just because of affordability or just accessibility. But things happening in the industry that are super cool is like augmented reality, using augmented reality in fashion. So for example, design houses are going to have they actually do have, you can actually go on their website and upload a photo of yourself, or even just like turn on your camera like I am here talking to you, and I can just try on different outfits without even leaving my apartment, my office. I can just try on different sunglasses. I can try on different shirts, different dresses, see how it'll look on my body, and make a purchase and know safely that I don't actually have to go into a store and try something on. There are other things like virtual fashion shows. So during COVID, the whole world kind of slowed down and shut down, and we weren't able to interact with people as much. So one of the things that some of the fashion houses did during Fashion Week is that they had a virtual fashion show, which allows for a more cost-effective fashion show, because basically it's virtual. They had virtual models. So these are like, digital representations of people wearing the clothing, so they didn't have to hire models per se, and they could just send out a link to a whole guest list and not be limited by the amount of people that can physically fit in a space. So I could watch a fashion show happening in Milan, and they would have these virtual reality models wearing the garments. They're also additional. The last one that I'll point out that I think is super exciting is 3D printing. And 3D printing, when you think of it, is really like more hard, tangible things. Like you can build, some kind of storage unit or something like that, something more structural. But there are a lot of creatives who are using 3D printing in their garment construction and how they, come up with these interesting reusable fabrics that are also good for the environment and also allow for less waste and, just overall, just very, very cool things happening it's with technology and fashion and just the doors that technology opens up for everybody across the globe. It's just amazing.
Oh, how has the use of computers affected the way you collaborate with designers or communicate with manufacturers?
Okay, so basically, when you have software, you have like things like Google Cloud, you can upload things to the cloud. I don't actually have to physically bring my artwork, my illustrations. I mean, right now there are two behind me on a wall, but typically I would illustrate something. Let's say back in the day, I would illustrate something on a piece of paper, and then I would have to carry that piece of paper to the screen printer or somebody that I'm collaborating with and say, hey, this is what I'm working on, etc. With the use of technology, and when I say technology, I'm not just thinking about big technology, I'm thinking about just the use of our phones, the fact that we have cameras on our phones, the fact that, I can Zoom call someone. It just makes it a lot easier to collaborate. I can upload a digital image or even a scanned image to the cloud, and then I can just give the company that I'm working with, wherever they are in the world, I can give them a call and say, hey, I uploaded this file to the cloud. What do you think? They can give me real-time feedback. There are just tons and tons of ways that technology has made, as big as the world is, has brought us together. And that's like one of the best things about technology.
How has the use of computers affected the way you select fabrics or materials for your designs?
So for myself, I really think about my selection of fabric based on what I can print on. So there are some fibers like, there are different types of fabrics. There are natural fibers, and then there's synthetic. So I have to consider that in my printing process of printing illustrations on fabric. But outside of that, I think a lot of, international designers and creatives, when they're thinking about the fabrics, they're also thinking about, okay, well, can I customize a print? Or even when I think about somebody who is actually like 3D printing their fabric. I think I read a study or a news article more recently of one of these designers who printed their fabric in a three-dimensional way, and basically the fabric was able to light up in a different way based on different other external variables. So basically the fashion show was someone walking on the catwalk, and as they walked on the catwalk, the print, so you see like how I have stripes on my shirt right now, I would walk further down and then it would become a plaid, and then it would become a different floral print, and the fabric will change as it goes. So there are just tons and tons of ways that like the technology of that is accessible, and the fabric are important for you to know what kind of textiles you're going to use. And for me, I don't really have that issue because I have to have a specific type of fabric, so I'm able to print my illustrations on them.
How has the use of computers affected the way you interact with your customers?
For myself, I think that, customer care is important, as it should be to all businesses, but, just having different apps that help you in business make a lot of things easier. So for example, whether it's my mailing list, I use MailChimp for that, and I set it up and I go in and people can automatically sign up to be on my mailing list for my website, and being able to respond to emails in a timely manner. There are just tons and tons of lists of things that you can do, and social media has also kind of implemented, once you have a business page, that makes it a lot easier for you to be able to keep the connection with the client and keep the conversation going.
How has the use of computers affected the way you stay up to date with fashion trends?
So once upon a time, when the fashion weeks were happening around the world, you would have to buy magazines. You would have to wait and see whether it's depending on how far back we're going. A magazine wouldn't even have a photo; it would have an illustration, like a fashion sketch of whatever it is the people in Rome had on their fashion week. You get what I'm saying? Now, because of the age of technology, as soon as somebody steps on a runway or a catwalk anywhere in the world, I can access that on my phone while maybe having my morning tea and my breakfast. I can see exactly what's happening in real time. I can see what the big designers are doing, what the couturiers are doing. It's so accessible. So now, with the speed of light, I know exactly what the next trends are going to be because I'm watching whether it's the fashion shows overseas in real time, or I'm actually seeing people across the globe on social media what they're into.
How do you balance the use of computers with traditional design techniques?
As a part of my line, I have the illustrations that are done digitally and screen printed on my actual garments. But then I also have some garments that are hand painted. And of course, those take a lot more time because I can do an illustration while I'm maybe watching a TV show or watching several TV shows. I can just sit down and say, okay, I'm going to take 5 hours and I'm going to do a couple illustrations. And depending on depending on how complex the illustrations are, it might just take me the 5 hours and I might have 3 or I might have 10 illustrations. Whereas if I was supposed to hand paint a dress, it would take me hours and hours and hours just working, and probably days, if I'm being honest, just working on one.
How do you see the role of computers in fashion design evolving in the future?
Oh, this is a really hard question, Susie. I mean, it's actually with everything that's happening now with like ChatGPT and all that, like I'm actually looking forward to the future, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous because a lot of this artificial intelligence, the AI is like, it's kind of mind blowing what the capabilities are. It's very impressive, but it's also very, very mind blowing. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to be working a little differently now. And I'm just approaching the next couple of years and the future of fashion and the future of the technology with curiosity as opposed to just, I find that a lot of people just get scared and it's like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to be open to learning new things and learning new ways to do old things. And I think it's just important for whatever happens because I'm actually not sure. I'm not a super huge techie person, so I can't say, oh, this is the future of technology and fashion. But technology has made so many things easier, and I just look forward to seeing how that blossoms and grows. And I hope I will be able to grow along with it. And I'm just approaching all of that with curiosity.
Yeah. So, what's your advice to young fashion designers who want to use CAD to create designs?
Young fashion designers who want to streamline into using CAD, I think, honestly, it takes a little time before you're able to afford some of the tools, but it's all about being dedicated to the cause. So just because you can't afford it right now, don't be discouraged. I mean, when I had just started, I didn't have a tablet. I didn't have, maybe I didn't have Photoshop. I didn't have Illustrator, but I figured out how to do it. And I think what becomes really daunting when you start is the startup cost for all of these things that you think you need right away. And honestly, start small, do what you can with what you have until you're able to save enough money or leverage different kind of relationships. And when I say leverage, I mean, you can work with someone in particular and maybe they sell, you can offer a service or some kind of bartering thing with a company and maybe they'll give you a discounted rate on one of the appliances or apps or something that you need. So it's all about trying to leverage what you have and also being able to just be kind of conscientious that even though you might not be able to afford it now, that doesn't mean you won't be able to afford it in the future. And, just keep working towards the goal. There's always going to be some new technology. As soon as you buy this app or this, device or whatever equipment it is, next week they're going to launch something new and better. And that doesn't mean you need to drop what you have right now to just purchase the next thing. Think about the bottom line in terms of your dollar, the dollars and cents of it all. Does it make sense to sell this and buy a new one? How is that going to impact positively or negatively my business? But always just keep in mind that there'll always be better out there, but you can always use what you have to create things.
Awesome! Thanks, Ayana Dixon, for joining the Mini Coders and sharing with us all that information about how computers influence the fashion industry.
All right, Cece, thanks so much for having me on. And to all the young creatives and all the young techies, good luck with everything. Thanks for having me. Bye.
We're about to go on a short break, but be sure to stay with us, Mini Coders, because we'll be right back. Welcome back to Coding 101, Mini Coders. Are you feeling like a fashion designer yet? If you're just joining us, my name is CC the Robot. We learned a lot before the break about how computers influence the fashion industry. And we spoke to Ayana Dixon, who told us a lot about design software, CAD, and more. But that's not all. Our friends from Inspiration Talks CAD were so kind to share their video about the apps out there that we can use to design clothes. Take a look, guys.
Let's talk about the best apps for clothing design that you can find out there. We're gonna start with Pretty Template, which is a sketching app that every fashion and clothing designer should probably consider, because they can do all their digital sketching using it, especially if they have ideas in a place where they don't have access to a sketchbook. You can draw inside the app either using a pen or your hands, and it works great in both ways. The designer can choose between male or female, and can add faces of different shapes to their sketches. We can add hair with different styles, which helps a lot when designing clothes for a specific client or a specific group of people. Then you have all the different clothing options that you can have access to, which greatly speeds up the designing process. Our next app on the list is called Pantone Studio. This app is great for making your own color stories and boards. It helps you build and create different color palettes that you can later use in your clothing design. Colors are probably one of the most important things that fashion designers have to master and know how to combine and work with perfectly. This app helps you adjust any type of color, pattern, or material, and then integrate them directly into the final clothing design. In a way, Pantone Studio helps you create suitable guides for colors and fashion in a very artistic and helpful way, which will boost your inspiration and will give you more freedom and flexibility in clothing design. Creating a color story with this app will also make things easier for fashion designers, because they can simply take their tablets and smartphones to the fabric store and get the colors they are aiming for directly without having to spend a lot of time choosing between all the colors that they might find in the store. Now, we have an app that might look different, but it is really interesting in this industry, and this app is gonna be Sketchbook. It is an app that is used in every design-related industry, but it is particularly helpful when it comes to clothing design. First of all, it's gonna be wonderful for drawing your sketches and stocking your ideas, whether you are in a bus, on a train, or on a plane. And it can help you sketch your designs very quickly through all the different features and tools that it offers. And what's even more interesting is that you can upload your sketches that you have created on paper and finish them directly on the app. This will help you bring your designs or sketches to life very effectively, especially when knowing that Sketchbook is so easy to use. You can adjust your design smoothly and as many times as you want in order for you to reach the best version of your desired clothing design. Next we have Procreate. If you ever done any kind of digital drawing or painting, this app will feel like home with its robust list of features. One of Procreate's most strong suits is that it is easy, intuitive, and has a good interface. And what makes it even better is its brushes. because it has a library of more than 150 brushes between pens, pencils, airbrushes, oil brushes, spray paints, and much more. Under each category of brushes, you can find a dozen or more of choices. You can customize them and create anything you want with any shape you want. Also, you have a plethora of exporting options and canvas sizes, and the good thing is, all important tools and functionalities are close to you. Now jump into another app called Fashion Design and Pattern Maker, which is a very descriptive name as you can tell. It can be really useful for fashion design, and it can help you easily choose a unique style and design your dresses and garments by picking your mannequin, fabric, and so on really quickly using the huge library of presets the app offers. You can choose exactly the style, size, pattern, etc. You can also draw your design, flat model, or take a photo of your fabrics or patterns and save it or share it by email to work on it later. The app also allows you to choose between style or pattern workflows. The style section allows you to customize your model's face, hair, body, color, etc. And you can easily customize the looks by selecting clothing articles such as a skirt, pants, dress, t-shirt, swimsuit, blazer, and so on. You can also personalize your styles using sleeves, necklines, belts, and so much more.
Wow! Our friends at Inspiration Thoughts CAD really gave us a list of apps that we can design from. Mini coders, take that advantage and be the best fashion designers you can be. See you next time!